Mr. Remy, people keep saying that our MCU movies are getting stale and it's too formulaic. We need new life. Is there anything you can do?
So you want me to inject life into the MCU? Say less.
What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Movie Breakdowns. I'm your host, Ali Zakka. And before I get started, if there's a movie you want me to review, let me know. Please put in the comment section below and I'll get to it as best I can. Also on Patreon/Ali Zakka for $2 a month. Get a cut in front of everybody. Get your review out way before it comes on Facebook and YouTube. Get other stuff on there, plus conversations and more content. Now, let's get to today's episode of 2022's Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. This is the sequel to the Doctor Strange movie. Yes, this review will be non-spoiler, and then halfway through it, I will let you guys know. I will hop into the spoiler section, so stuff you wanted to see, that you seen the movie you want to talk about, I'll be in the spoiler section later on. But this is for the non-spoiler people. This is for the people who don't want the spoilers, but just want to know what the movie's about and is it worth their time going to see. I'm planning on giving that to you. I'm planning on giving that information right now. So, what is Doctor Strange 2 about? Pretty much a spell that was cast by Doctor Strange and another movie has kind of opened the gateway up to the multiverse, and Doctor Strange, Wong, and Wanda Maximoff, who is Scarlet Witch, got to team up with each other to stop the new threat that's coming to this universe. That is pretty much the Multiverse of Madness from what the trailer gives you, and this non-spoiler review is pretty much based off the trailer. The things that I like: this movie is a horror movie. You're going to see horror vibes of horror films. Sam Raimi used to make horror movies, and he's the guy who made this first 3 Spider-Man, so he brings some of his horror stuff to the MCU. This is a shake-up from other MCU movies, and I really do enjoy that. I enjoy the fact that it's a different movie from the other MCUs. So you're a horror fan, you're going to find yourself loving this movie. Now, is this movie be like turned off for non-horror fans? No, it's not like that, because you know, it has horror aspect to this movie. It's not like an all-out horror movie. It's still a Marvel movie. It's still superhero movies, but it's in the world of more of a horror vibe. And I would say you have kids younger than the age of 13. This movie is a strong PG-13 movie. A strong PG-13 movie. Let me reiterate. Strong PG-13. So there will be some things, like I said, because the horror movie that if you are bringing kids who probably under the age of PG-13, they might see some imagery in this movie that'd be like, oh, that's deep. But other than that, like I enjoyed the visuals. I enjoyed the main storyline part of this movie. I enjoyed the acting. This movie is great as always. It's really, really fantastic. The things I didn't like in this movie, the pacing and transition. Because this is kind of a horror vibe of an MCU movie, there's some transitions in the first, I'd say 20 to 30 minutes of this movie where you're just like, what is happening? Slow down, please. Like, the pacing of this movie moves a little quick, and Sam Raimi directed this, so it starts off with an action fest. It's an action fest movie, and you're going to have action left and right, and then you have moments of exposition, but really, this movie does have a lot going on with the pacing wise. I get the Multiverse of Madness, so it's like, let's get crazy. And you're somebody who didn't see the What If series of Marvel or WandaVision, you might be a little bit like lost, but it doesn't lose you to the point where you're like, you can't follow it. This movie does make sure you're understanding what's going on, but it does help to watch the MCU series stuff before jumping into this movie. That's pretty much it. Like I said, I do like the storyline, what's going on here. I like the horror aspect of it. I like the acting, which is always great. And the music score in this movie is noticeable, and I enjoyed it. The dislikes is pretty much some of the CGI. I didn't really like the CGI. Like, there's some CGI in this movie that reminds me of a early 2000 comic book movie, and then on top of that, there is some campiness in this movie. Sam Raimi did bring back the campiness in this movie, and there's some line and cheesy dialogue where you're just like, yeah, this is a superhero movie. And the transition from different scenes in this movie that really bugged me, and also the pacing of this movie just didn't work with me as well. There's pacing issues in this movie to me where, like, the first couple of moments you're just like, All right, screw it. How did we get here? We're just rolling with it. Fine. Sure. I guess I'll just go along with the ride because it's the Multiverse of Madness. It's a multiverse movie and you're going to see a bunch of different multiverse stuff. So that's like the excuse of it. And then it's like, I also felt like there's a point where Michael Waldron and Sam Raimi was like, just throw everything in there. Let's just throw this in here. Let's throw that in there. Yeah. Marvel, got it. Psh, dump. Marvel dump. So, like, those are the things I didn't like, but everything else with this movie I really enjoyed. I think it is a solid MCU movie, a nice shake-up to what we're used to when watching MCU movies. So you're somebody who wants something fresh to your MCU kind of movie, this would be the one to watch to change it up and shake it up a little bit. Now, let's go ahead and get into the cast and directors. Director is Sam Raimi. Like I said, he worked on the first 3 Spider-Man movies and he was into them horror movies and he brings a little of that to this movie, which is great. It shakes it up. Michael Waldron, who worked on Loki, he pretty much worked on this movie for the writing, and he really does add some aspects from the Marvel TV show. So you haven't seen the certain TV shows in the Marvel universe, this movie is going to bring that stuff into it. So if you're like, oh, what's going on here, where that coming from, definitely check out the TV shows to get a little more backstory on the Multiverse of Madness scenes and plots. Characters, Benedict Cumberbatch, who played Doctor Strange, great job. He is perfect, Doctor Strange. Like, good job. It's Benedict Cumberbatch. Good job, man. Like, Doctor Strange is cheeky. He is goofy at certain points in time. Kind of like, he's the character he's been in other movies. Like, and he's the one, like, I will do whatever it takes to get the job done kind of guy. It's the same guy. It's Doctor Strange hasn't changed. Elizabeth Olsen, who plays Wanda Maximoff, also known as the Scarlet Witch. Elizabeth Olsen has come a long way for me when it comes to MCU. When I first watched Avengers 2, I just felt like she hasn't grown into her character. And then in this movie, I feel like she is the embodiment of the Scarlet Witch. Elizabeth Olsen is great. She is amazing. She knows how to work her character and do the character well and add justice to the Scarlet Witch. And I think there's nobody else who can replace her for this character. Elizabeth Olsen growth for Scarlet Witch is amazing. Scarlet Witch as a character in this movie is a very integral part of this movie, and she is also a strong character. Like, she is strong. Like, I like the fact they made Scarlet Witch a strong character in this movie, and she is every bit of strong, and I think I just think amazing. I think Elizabeth Olsen and the Scarlet Witch in this movie is amazing. Like, it's such great acting from her, and the character for the writing for Scarlet Witch in this movie is amazing as well. Like, I have nothing bad to say. It is great. The next character I want to talk about is Xochitl Gomez. She plays a character named America Chavez, and she is in the trailer. She's like the new character that gets introduced in this movie. I think she does a great job. I think she and Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange play off each other really well in this movie. And I kind of want to see a movie where those two team up and they're like the main focal point of this movie. I think they did a great job of picking Xochitl Gomez to be America Chavez. I don't know much about America Chavez in the Marvel universe. I don't know much about her character, but this is her introduction into the MCU. I am about it, and I want to see more from her. And at the end of this movie, I really wanted more from Xochitl Gomez, and hopefully we get more from her in other movies. And then last but not least, Benedict Wong, who played Wong, is phenomenal. Benedict Wong is great. He's been great in all the other movies, and I'm glad this movie gets him moments to shine. When he shows up, you're like, oh, it's just got real, and he's about to put in work. And it's kind of cool to see that, like, Benedict Wong is the one who's the Sorcerer Supreme, which he stated that in No Way Home. But really in this movie, like, you see why he's Sorcerer Supreme. I think he is a great sidekick, if not more of a co-pilot with Doctor Strange in this series, and I'm here for it. And then Chiwetel Ejiofor, who plays Baron Mordo, he is back in this movie. You saw him in the first Doctor Strange movie. He's back in this one, and he does great. Chiwetel Ejiofor does great in everything he does, and props to him. Any other thoughts Not really. The music, there's some music score in this movie where you will like jump out at you and you're like, oh, okay, that was great. That was good here. And Danny Elfman comes back, who did the Spider-Man soundtrack from the original Spider-Man movies. Well, he's back in this movie and I think he does a good job. The CGI and the visuals of this movie, the visuals for horror aspect is great. It's definitely a horror movie and you definitely see the horror tropes and visuals in this movie, which work well. The CGI in certain scenes does seem a little like 2017-18. Like it doesn't look like a 2022 movie. It looks more not cartoonish, but you can definitely tell like the CGI in this movie. I feel like 5 years from now it might not hold up as well. It just seems a little different. I don't know what it is. It's not like No Way Home CGI. It's not like Shang-Chi CGI. It's a different style of CGI in this movie. The animation for it, I just don't know how to describe it, but it seemed off for me in little pieces of this movie. Is this a Friday night movie you should see in theaters? Yes, go see this movie in theaters, especially if you're an MCU fan, and grading time. I'm gonna grade Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness a solid B-. This movie gets an 80% from me. It's a solid MCU movie. It does its job. It's a good movie. It's good to enjoy. The horror vibes of this movie is new and fresh. The storyline, pacing might be a little bit off and transition might be a little bit off and CGI can be a little bit iffy, but the acting and the storyline for this movie works for me. I think it's great. And I'm ready to talk about all the details in this movie because the trailer doesn't give you everything. So if you guys want to be spoiled or you've seen the movie and want to talk about some spoilers, see in the next part of this video. But other than that, this movie gets a B- for me. Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness gets a B-. So if you've seen it, what do you think? Please put in the comment section below. Other than that, see you guys in the next episode when we break downs and keep being awesome. But the spoiler guys and spoiler gals, see ya in 3, 2, 1. Alright, let's go ahead and hop into the spoiler section. So the first thing I want to talk about is the main villain of this movie. This villain of this movie is no other than Wanda Maximoff herself, the Scarlet Witch. And matter of fact, it's not alternate universe Scarlet Witch, it is the Scarlet Witch. She is the villain in this movie. So you guys seen WandaVision, you know what happened at the end of WandaVision, where she loses her kids and she loses vision and she kind of goes off on her own. Well, in this movie, Doctor Strange goes and asks for help because he figured out that whoever's after this girl named America Chavez who can portal through the multiverse, her power is that she can go to different multiverses, different universes and travel through them. Well, she's being hunted down by some being. And Doctor Strange asked Wanda for help to stop whoever this being that's hunting her down. Well, the person hunting her down, plot twist, is Wanda. And why? Because Wanda keeps having these dreams. And when you have dreams in the MCU, it's actually another universal version. It's a multiverse version of you living life. And when you wake up from your dream, that person goes back to their normal life. So you're seeing their life as you sleep. So anytime you sleep, it's your multiverse universe, alternate universe living their life. So you pretty much go into their world and then you wake up and you're back in your world. Well, Wanda keeps waking up in a world where she has her kids and she wants to see her kids. She wants to be part of her kids and she wants that. So she's going to use America Chavez's powers, steal it from her so she can go live in the universe with a kid. Now there's two Wandas, so one of the Wandas will have to die and Wanda's like completely fine with that. She was like, I will kill her so I can have kids. Which comes out to be her downfall in the end of the movie, and this movie does foreshadow that with a few scenes in this movie where you see Wanda sees the kids and she's like kind of want to do things but she doesn't want to do things, or she's pausing her wrath or rampage because she get to see her kids, and at the end of the movie her kids being scared of her to show her that she is the true monster in this movie really hits. And it's a moment where I'm like, yeah, that's solid. I mean, I thought we were gonna have two Wandas fight each other. We don't. We pretty much get like one Wanda consoling the other Wanda, and Wanda's the original Wanda or 616 Wanda is kind of like, yeah, I made a mistake, I probably should have done that. But Wanda is the villain in this movie. She is the main bad guy, and I'm here for it. I'm down with that. I like the fact that the hero that we are so used to watching is the one who is the villain in the Multiverse of Madness, and she's the one who caused everything to happen. And Doctor Strange is really trying to stop Wanda from trying to take this girl and kill this girl. So he's protecting America Chavez from Wanda, who's trying to kill her so she can live another life, which is a movie about grief again. Like the WandaVision show, which is a continuation of that. It's a movie about grief and trying to get back what you want that you lost. Doctor Strange goes with that with Rachel McAdams, who's in this movie, who plays, oh, what's her name? Oh, Christine Palmer. Christine is back in this movie, and Rachel McAdams does a great job. Rachel McAdams is probably one of my favorite actresses in this in America right now, or I'm not even sure she is American, but she's one of my favorite actresses. And anytime I watch a movie with her in it now, I am always pleased and never disappointed. But Rachel, and who's a focal point in this movie too, because Doctor Strange goes to her wedding in his universe and then meets another Rachel in another universe who kind of let go of Doctor Strange when he got killed. And she's kind of like, you know, Doctor Strange keep doing this to himself, and Strange, the 616 Strange, or the MCU Strange, is like, that's not me, you know, I'm trying to do better, and he's understanding that it's not always about him. In this movie, that's his lesson learned, and learned that, like, it's okay to move on. So in this movie, Doctor Strange is trying to move on while Wanda is not moving on, and she let her grief consume her, and so she's causing everything to happen in this movie to the point where she's willing to kill somebody to order to live a life in somebody else's, Wanda's life in another universe. That's the villain, and it's crazy that Wanda is the villain in this movie. I'm here for it. Now the transition of it though, is just like Wanda automatically knows, like, oh, America Chavez, all right, let's get it. I'm like, how did Wanda know about this? How did Wanda? And then it's like, oh, what is a book that would show that Wanda is different universes, and apparently Wanda found this girl through this book. So there's a book of evil and there's a book of good, and if you get touched the book of evil, you get consumed by it. The Doctor Strange in the trailer, you see that's from the What If series that we thought was a What If series. I think it is a What If series because he's the one who tried to make it so he can relive life with Wanda, or with Christine. He's the one that kept the book and let it consume him as well. And Doctor Strange, MCU Doctor Strange, has to use that book eventually to save the day, where he becomes zombie Doctor Strange, because another Doctor Strange gets killed, so Doctor Strange uses his corpse, and there's like ghouls and spirits and demons trying to take over Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange fights them back with Rachel. Yes, this is all happening in this movie, and the visuals for that stuff is wild. Like, it is haunting kind of stuff in this movie. Speaking of haunting, there's death all throughout this movie. People die in this movie. So one of the big cameos is Professor X, Mr. Reed, or Mr. Fantastic, Ms. Marvel, Captain Britain is in this movie, and Black Bolt from the Inhumans in this movie. And Wanda kills Captain Marvel, Captain Britain. She kills Black Bolt, and she kills Mr. Fantastic in this movie, and she does it in the most horrific ways. Black Bolt tries to scream, and he blows his head out, like, because she covered his mouth up. Mr. Fantastic gets like slithered into multiple fabrics, and his head explodes. Captain Britain gets sawed in half by her own shield, and then Captain Marvel gets the easiest death, where she just gets collapsed by a giant statue. But they're in this movie, and Professor X gets his neck snapped mentally. Like, Patrick Stewart's in this movie as Professor X, and John Krasinski plays Mr. Fantastic, and they get killed, and it's all on screen. Like, I think kids watch this movie terrified. Like, this man got his neck snapped, and it was shown. Like, I was like, oh my God. Like, this movie, horrific vibes. It's all that movie. You see burnt bodies. You see a Doctor Strange getting impaled like Mortal Kombat. You see like the horrific like zombie versions of Wanda. Like, it is like definitely a horror movie. There's a scene where Wanda is chasing down Doctor Strange and America and Rachel character Christine, and she's limping, but she's catching up to her, and she's breaking stuff, and it's like her eyes are all red, and there's like stuff where she shows in the shadows and her eyes are all red. It is like terrifying. There's a jump scare in this movie at one point where I got caught. I didn't see it coming. But there's also stuff in this movie that like you really peel back and like, this doesn't make sense story wise. Like, apparently the temple of the Book of Evil was made for Wanda. It wasn't a temple of to keep things out, but a throne for Wanda. How did they know it was a throne for Wanda? I don't know. It just happened. I'm just like, so we're just doing this now? We're about that life? Explain how this here. How did Wanda know America was there? All right, sure. And then she's sending monsters. Where did she find these monsters at? And apparently her sending monster was the nice way. The evil way with her being like going after her herself. Because Wanda is a bull in a china shop in this movie, and she's not being stopped. I mean, a bull in a glass shop, but she is not being stopped. She is destroying things left and right, and she is just a mad woman. She is on this multiverse of madness, and she wants what she wants, and she don't care who gets in her way. She has killed people throughout this movie, and you're like, death is a thing in the MCU, and it is graphic. Well, not super graphic, it's not gory, but it is definitely some things. You're like, I just watched Black Bolt explode his head. Oh God, oh jeez. But it's entertaining. It was entertaining. It was a good mix-up and refreshing version of the MCU that we haven't got before, and I was here for it. Here for it. This movie was PG-13, but it was definitely hitting PG-16. That was a thing. Like it is a strong PG-13, and I just gushing about it. The multiverse scene, you do get a multiverse scene in this movie where Doctor Strange and America are pushing through different universes and different versions and different things you get to see throughout this movie, like a cartoon version, Paint World, like Jurassic World before they lived in like America or United States, where it's completely different on I think 816 or 808 something planet. But you do get to see a bunch of universes, but really in this movie there's only 3 universes that you experience. You experience the 616, which is the MCU universe. You experience like 808, where the Illuminati, which exists in this movie, live in. And then you get to experience kind of like a world where like the universes have crossed over, and you get like What If Doctor Strange. I call him What If Doctor Strange, which is not, but and there's a music battle in this movie. Like there's a music battle I've never seen it before, where Doctor Strange versus Doctor Strange, they're using musical notes to fight each other, which I was like, that is pretty cool. Like that is awesome. That's unique. I haven't seen it. When something's fresh and unique and you get interjected, that automatically boosts it up, man. Like that fight scene was awesome to see in this movie, and I feel like the ending fight scene was something you haven't seen before either. Now there are cheesiness in this movie. Doctor Strange tells America like, you got this, wink, and I was like, why did he wink? Why did Zombie Strange wink? I had to see that. Okay, cool. But yeah, there's only 3 universes you really dive into, and really that's about it in the multiverse of madness. It's just the fact that Wanda's going mad. She's on her tirade still, and America Chavez character, Xochitl Gomez America Chavez, she can punch universes and go to different universes of her own will. And I'm curious to see what happens in the future. Let me see if there's any other spoilers I want to bring out here. Oh, after credit scenes. There are 2 after credit scenes in this movie. There is Charlize Theron, who comes in as Clea, which I've seen Clea in different comic books. I'm curious to see what happens with her in this new movie. Doctor Strange uses the Book of Evil at one point to save the day and save America, but he also gets the toll taken upon him, so he has 3 eyes now. And Clea shows up and says, hey, we need to go fix the multiverse. And then the guy, the dude who's in all of the Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3 movies, who played different roles, like he was the waiter in Spider-Man 3. He was the dude at the door in Spider-Man 2. And I forgot what he was in Spider-Man 1. But he is apparently a guy who's like running the hot dog stand in Spider-Man in this movie. And he gets put on a spell where he has to punch himself for a whole week. And at the end of the movie, he's like, it's over. And that's the end of the movie. But Doctor Strange will return in Doctor Strange 3. And I'm here for it. I am here for it. So yeah, that's all I want to talk about. For spoilers, thank you guys for sitting around. I appreciate y'all, and see y'all next episode with breakdowns, and keep being awesome. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. I really appreciate that. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. If there's a review you want me to watch or do, let me know. Please put it in the comment section below this video. Also, you want to watch the last episode movie breakdowns, it's right there. Just gotta click on it and you'll be able to watch it. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Love y'all, and keep being awesome.